Hi guys, my name is Victory. Welcome to Financial Jagajaga. Yeah, I said it. So I'll be just you guys about the oil price drama that's happened recently. Everybody's talking about oil price has crashed, no hear what again. Calm down. So before I even start talking about the whole oil price thing, I feel like there are three basic things that everybody should know about oil when we're talking about oil, right? The first thing is the fact that in the international market where people buy and sell oil, there are three brands of oil, major brands rather. The first is the WTI. This one is considered premium quality and so is the most expensive, but it's currently at $28 per barrel. The second is the Brent, which is also quality, but it's currently at $34 per barrel because of the news. It was previously at 20 something levels too, but because of the Trump's tweet, it has increased to $34 per barrel. Then the last is OPEC basket, which is where Nigeria's oil falls into, and it's currently at $19 per barrel. That's number one. Number two thing you should know is that China is the largest importer of oil in the world. Yeah. And the third thing you should know is the fact that the five top producers of oil, the five countries that produce oil, top in the world, number one is US, then we have Saudi Arabia, then we have Russia, Canada, and China. So China produces oil, but they import more than they produce, right? So having said that, you may be wondering what led to the crash of oil. What led to this crash of oil? Calm down. So basically, like I said, China is the biggest importer of oil. Now, when coronavirus started, it started in China, right? So they had to lock down their industries. They stopped buying oil. Basically, planes were not running again, industries were closed, transportations were not running again, and so they stopped buying oil. What happened is the number one buyer has stopped buying. So it just led to a huge drop in demand. It means that there was now so much oil and there was a reduction in demand. So immediately OPEC, which is the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, an organization of oil exporters, they came together and they said, guys, we need to do something. Let's reduce the amount of oil we're producing. I mean, if we're producing 30 million barrels and we're selling 30 million barrels, that's good. But imagine we're producing 30 million barrels and we're selling only 10 because no one is buying. That's bad. So they said, let's reduce the quantity we're producing. And then they agreed in OPEC. But then they had to tell Russia is not a member of OPEC, and Russia was like, no, I'm not going to reduce the amount of oil I produce. And so there was now like a price war because everybody was now producing. It's not me that will cut my own and you will not cut your own. Everybody was producing oil. What happened? Like, it just got to a point where there's too much oil in the system, but no one is buying, and that is what now led to it kept crashing. I mean, no one ever imagined that oil will be trading at $18 per barrel level, $20 something per barrel level, coming from $60 something per barrel, right? I said a lot of things, right? So you may now be wondering, this sounds bad. What's the way forward? Yeah. So Trump he tweeted that he had a meeting with Russia's president and Saudi Arabia's prince, and they've agreed to reduce the quantity of oil they are producing. Now that's good news because it will mean that at least the level of production per day will reduce, and so maybe that will reduce the supply, and somehow the industry will correct itself. But people are still saying it's not going to work because at the end of the day, Russia and Saudi Arabia they've not come out to say it's true. The only thing we know is that Saudi Arabia has called for an OPEC emergency meeting tomorrow. So let's just watch and see. Another thing is that now that China has been able to contain the coronavirus, they've decided to start buying again, or it's in the news that China has decided to start buying oil again, and they even have plans to buy so much oil to cover up for the periods that they did not buy. And so at least that would have some positive impact, but we don't know how effective that impact will be yet. I said a lot, I know. And you'll be wondering, me as an average Nigerian, how this one concern me? Guy, it concern you. You must know. So I feel like as a Nigerian, one thing you should know is that government budget for 2020, they plan to get 32% of their revenue from the money they get from selling oil. And now nobody's buying oil. In fact, even if anybody's buying, they're buying small, and even from that small, they're buying at $18 per barrel, which meanwhile the government budgeted to sell this oil at $57 per barrel. So basically, as a Nigerian, you should be wondering, how is the government going to raise money? How is the government going to get the money that they were supposed to get from oil revenue? Because they must do the things they plan to do. Number one is the government may decide to increase taxes, right? That will be bad news because I'll have less money to spend. The second thing is that the government may decide to issue bonds. They will decide to borrow from the public. In borrowing from the public, they will issue bonds and issue treasury bills. That may be good news because at least I have somewhere to invest my money and get interest, right? The third thing is they may decide to go and borrow from the international market, and in borrowing from the international market, they'll be borrowing dollars at a high cost, which is called euro bonds. That is going to be bad because it will just increase the debt of the country. And as a last resort, they may decide to borrow from IMF. Now, IMF loans are not free. They come with a lot of hard conditions, right? So I'm not saying trying to spell doom or anything. I just think you should know. And thanks for answering. At least next time when someone's talking about oil price, you'll be able to follow the conversation, right? So thank you once again for listening to Financial Jagajaga. You can send your questions, your comments, and yeah, basically this is just to keep the average Nigerian who is not a finance person informed. Yeah, have a nice day. Bye.